Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, we had Gamecom, but of course your boy still gotta drop that anime, you know what I was saying. Um, Abandon the Sacred Beast is definitely becoming a weird show. I think ever since they've shown me the guy Hank leaving, I've kind of was scared of like where the show would go, how the show would play out, just without one of the main characters that I actually truly wanted to learn the most about and not only learn the most about, see the most of, and now he's off on his own journey off screen practically, still hunting incarnates now that we know. And as he's hunting them, he's freaking out about what has happened to him. So I think Hank is probably the closest to death we've ever seen him. And I say it because he's going to be continuously close to death if he keeps this up, right? This man is allowing that moment of weakness, or as he probably sees it, when he let the monster actually take over. I'm guessing he sees that as weakness, and if he allows himself to do that again, how many people, like non-involved people, will get hurt because he transformed just to take on one person is kind of the mindset I see given off of by Hank in this week's like if you didn't even watch, if you just turn the episode off after the credits, you literally missed this part, and that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. It feels like all this stuff is taking place off screen, and then we're just showing up at the gritty parts of him putting in the final bits of work. Not only the bits of work, but showing us this uh, evil within himself that he doesn't want to necessarily invoke, necessarily use anymore because of what is possible. So this is what I'm talking about stories having overall arcing you know damage, or something that from when it's happened to till it ends, or until someone re confirms that they're a good person, that they what they did was because of pure like anger, something that all humans would have done. uh sure, we can't turn into beasts, but we've seen humans do the craziest things when they're angry, because that's all their anger mentality in their mind is telling them. That's why when people do that stuff, they actually apologize, because they don't know what comes over them. It's called literally seeing red or blacking out. There's multiple terms for it because it happens so much. And to be someone with great responsibility and great power, like being able to turn into a freaking werewolf that can take out half of your own army just by yourself, seemingly, and not to mention his dope explosion spear. We're just left to guess what his fate is. Like they've already kind of are starting to usher him out of the show, push him away, push him out, push him out, push him out, and then we kind of have this eerie connection back to the first episode, though, with Charlotte and the brother of Kane, Mr. General Shoot 'em first, don't worry about your feelings at all, because your father is using you as a pawn. And not only is your father using you as a pawn, your brother is the main cause of all of this in the first place. So it's absolutely feeling like some weird, like new, like, how do I want to put this? It feels almost as if he's the captain, Hank, with a lot on his shoulders, and Charlotte's more of the other guy who like betrayed everybody, just because she is with them and everything. But like we saw with God, Cain. I don't know why saying that is weird to me right now, but seeing how he lived his life on the battlefield, and seeing that we never saw Hank or him ever have to transform to go, or you're a good friend, you took that like a boss. Thanks, man. Uh, we never had to see that. Let me show you true full power, fool. So why was that? Why never did we see Hank or Kane literally go into their beast forms while in the army? You know what I mean? It's because how good the other incarnates were together as a team. They just were, not really needing any real backup from any humans ever. The humans always were getting tore up, and then they show up and even the battlefield. So it's funny to me that every time we've seen this show kind of deviate from Hank, or just deviate and give us more on this girl, she always has this. She always is more nonchalant about things. She wants to, be chill and understand people's side of stuff instead of just knowing that this is what you have to do and how you have to do it. You're gonna do it regardless. Like that's what Hank felt like when he was in the army. He felt like regardless of what I mean, and even after, the Carnage got set loose, that's all he was doing. He was literally just their person that was leaving every single place and going to the next one. He had no time to hang out after any of that stuff. The only time he rested was because he was injured. He was a tool for them, just like how he's still using himself as a tool to take out his fellow comrades. And that's where Charlotte's kind of differing. She's not a tool. She wants to figure out any other way to stop these people without using her gun. That's why it was like a mind blast to this kid who, finding out his dad was a president. This week's episode is pretty, that's a lot more to hold. I mean, I kind of already figured after seeing where his brother was, and then after seeing his brother and how much power, like where he was with Hank in the field. He was already like second in command or like third. Yeah, he was definitely second. And then the girl who made the incarnates was just like a scientist. I don't think she would ever go on the battlefield ever. Hence why she only made God bullets and didn't have any other real weapons on her. She was just trying to take out her own creations. Um, but to just guess that this kid who has an older man that literally is doing all this dope stuff because he's trained like endlessly, clearly, compared to this kid who probably was forced into this position later on in his life. Sure, he had training probably, but he seemingly doesn't have that good of leadership, or whatever was happening to him in his life, he has no compassion whatsoever for any of this. And I think that has to definitely shine back on his father. And because it shines back on his father and maybe his brother a little bit, I mean, we'll probably get that backstory of how the brothers were and how the father was to them in general, So kind of looking forward to that. Not to mention, it felt like Hank had met both of these two people, Kane and the girl who helped make the incarnates. They met as kids, and he said he was an orphan. So was Kane adopted? So it's stuff like that that's getting kind of interesting. It's like his adopted father was the president, and he just still didn't, really care about it. He wants to knock all of it down too, as well, and make his own utopia. I see it. So this episode was good. The siren part and her singing, man, that was rough to watch. All my anime people, if you watch that and you have now sat through it and felt that, there are some shows that they do this to me every time. They do it to me every time, my anime people, and you're the real ones that have been putting through some other animes that I haven't even been through. There's some animes I can't even go through because I just know it's going to be sad because of people's reviews and people's like actual, reactions. It's not hard to just see a reaction video and guess what to feel when they're balling, So I usually try to stay away from it if it's not like a story that already kind of grabbed me, like grabbed my attention and stuff like that. and it's just gonna make me sad, I'm like, I'll if I ever catch it on my own time at a weird time, I'll do it. And the one I'm talking about is called Erased. Uh, I it sounded interesting, but it wasn't. I don't know what it was about it that didn't catch me enough to get into it. Like I love the music of it too. That's the weird part of me. But anyway, I got two more videos to make, and I'm going on. This episode was Siren, and seeing her go through that. Not only that, the thing that made her actually snap was losing her piano player. It was really messed up, man. And to know that we still have to save face and be like, oh yeah, but we're the good guys in all this. That's the messed up pill to swallow at the end of the day. Like she made a friend out of this woman. She literally could talk to her, relate to her, hear her stories, but she couldn't hear her song because if she was singing, people might find her. So she never got to actually hear her sing. And then when she finally does get to hear her sing, and she already knows it's a different song than the one she was singing in the village to put people to sleep, it was very sad, man. I hope that they, show some weird incarnate heaven that they all go to with Hank if he does wind up biting the bullet as well, because that's just 100% how it looks like it's headed. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. But we had some pretty heavy episodes this week, so your boy is here to console you. If you just need to say hug, I'll hug back. So, with all that being said, have an awesome one and peace.